This is the Carlton Podcast. Here's your host, Tony Moclair.
Hello and welcome to the Carlton Podcast for 2014. The lineup unchanged from last year. Mitch Robinson. G'day, Mitch. How you going?
Very good, mate. It's great to be back. How you feeling, mate? Fresh from the big break or what?
I certainly am. I'm pumped and ready to go. Carlton's 150th year. Tony Moclair is back with Robbo hosting the podcast. Slight change in format this year. We've got a lot to get through today, Robbo. There's a new expanded 30-minute podcast.
Look out, 30 minutes. So everyone gets the news, latest updates, and we'll have plenty of in stock for all the people out there.
Well, let me tell you what's coming up, Robbo. We're going to just cover off pre-season in Arizona. Going to talk about drafted players that we need to watch this year. Murph and Walker both re-signing. Going to talk about that and have a chat about free agency as well. We'll preview the Port Adelaide game.
Yep.
And, of course, we're going to talk about the 150th year and the new Guernsey, which is very exciting. But firstly, talking about exciting...
Yes, mate.
Mitch Robinson, father-to-be. Congratulations.
Thank you. No, it's been a long 9 months so far. We've got 2 weeks left. The baby's actually due, little boy's due on the 27th of March. So that's round 2 Richmond. So
why did I do the fist pump there?
I have no idea. Is that your birthday?
No. Father-son rule.
Oh, yes. No, hopefully get my 12 games up this year. I'm sitting on 88, so I've used the coaches. I've told them, if you give me 12 under the belt, then I'll be very happy with that.
And so how are you... How does the birth of a child... Because there's plenty of players in the team...
Punch his way out. If he's my son, he'll be punching his way out.
How is it going to affect you? Because, Carrots can tell you all you need to know. Juddy can tell you all you need to know.
Mate, there's plenty of people around the club giving me advice. There's I think there's 4 or 5 babies getting born this year from the Carlton the boys. So wow. I think we're going to need a little bit of playpen down there. So
yep.
No, it's going to be amazing. I can't wait. I'm not really doing that much. It's all on Emma, but I've talked to a couple of boys and they just said make sure you have a spare room because the night before games you want to get your shut eye and I think I've got that set up already, so I'm ready to go.
Good work. I have 3 questions then on behalf of the Carlton Podcast for a player who is expecting a child at the Carlton Football Club.
Yeah.
Question number 1, is the baby delivered by the club doctor?
No, we've been lucky enough to... what happened was I didn't get Emma on my private insurance early enough, so we're going public, we're going the Royal Women, so lucky enough we got in there. They're meant to be the best going round.
They do a
public.
great job. They are wonderful.
So we got in there, it's all sweet. We have another appointment later on today, so we get to go in there and just check that the baby's all good and facing the right way, going head first, so a bit like my motto, head first. But
exactly, I was going to say it's going to be crash through or crash burn.
It's exciting times.
Okay, second question. Is the umbilical cord cut by the list manager?
I don't think Andy McKay would be in there in the birth suite, so that'll be my job, mate. I'm the only man in there. Unless
good.
The midwife's
you in the cheer squad. And last question. This is probably a slightly delicate one. Does the baby bonus come under the salary cap?
I think it's $5,000 the baby bonus.
Is it?
Yeah, I think
Crikey.
it is. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure we just made it. It might be cut off there. I think someone was going to cut off the money, but no, it doesn't because I'm still getting the same old $2 a game. So
yes.
I might bump up to $2.50.
All right. Well, good luck on behalf of all of us. And you said Junior was due when?
27th of March. So there'll be hopefully it'll be a day or so late, so I can play against Richmond. But if not,
so be it. Now, speaking of playing, the pre-season in Arizona. Can you talk us through that, Robbo? How many Arizonas have you done?
I've done 2, and this one was the worst 2 weeks of my life, I reckon.
Why? Because it was hard?
We got this new person, I don't know if you know his name, Dave Butterfin, came in from Collingwood.
Yeah.
He's had to live up to big expectations, and he thought, 2 weeks, what better time just to smash him as hard as you can. So, no, it was hard. It was pretty hard for me because I was in the rehab group over there. I just came off a foot injury from that Richmond game in the finals. Didn't end up getting surgery on it because it tore itself, so I was pretty, did its own job. So, went over there. I didn't go on the hikes, but the hikes were about 6 hours, doing the Grand Canyon. So we had to replicate that, but in training. So it'd be like boxing, cycling, X-Fit stuff. It'd be all that for 6 hours. So a few of the boys did that, and they reckon it was just absolute hell.
And how does everybody feel after coming back? What's the consensus amongst the group about how Arizona has train their bodies, I guess.
Yeah, we feel really good. It's more of a mental thing up there, like seeing how far you can push yourself. And, you know, a few teams are getting over to overseas now and getting some high altitude training. And you can see, like, everyone's running better times. Everyone's, like, running a lot longer in game. So it's definitely picked up a bit. But now we feel pretty strong and fit at the moment. So we've shown in a couple of our games. It's kind of getting hard used to the interchange rule. But, you know, we're ready to go this Sunday. So look out.
The obvious question is, you travel obviously all over Australia. When you go overseas, who is the most annoying international traveller in the group?
Well, I still say Ed Kerno. He's just absolute pest. But in saying that, he gets the boys up on the long hikes and stuff, and he's always at the front or the back or niggling you and trying to get your spirits up and about. But there's a lot of sad sacks in there. They like to keep their heads down and a little bit depressed on the trip. And I think Tom Bell was a big shower for getting angry when he was being pushed a little bit too hard. I think he lost his mind on one of the hikes up Mount Humphrey. So was punching trees and kicking the snow at people, and he was nowhere.
That's good. Whatever it takes, get him angry.
Through,
I love it.
No, there's a couple injuries over there. So I think one of the sponsors or one of the corporates went over and chipped his tooth on the trip, and yeah, it was pretty hard trip.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
okay, well, that's probably the least of your worries on an overseas
corporate
trip.
wasn't one of the players, yeah.
How did the team travel generally? Tommy Bell is a big unit. How does he go on a long Trans-Pacific flight?
It's all about sleeping tablets these days.
Okay.
16 hours, like usually probably back in the olden days would have a few drinks and you can pass out from that way. But just there's a lot to do on airplanes these days. You got your phones, you got your iPads, laptops. Everyone gets up to date with like the Game of Thrones or the Walking Dead series. So everyone's pretty occupied on the plane. I just slept the whole way, so it was amazing.
Okay. Now, who do we need to look out for? Who showed some early promise? There's been the games against the Kangaroos and Adelaide, the Bulldogs. Who do you like the look of? Well,
especially in the pre-season, I reckon big Tommy Bell. He ran amazing times around the 2K time trial, and he's just shown so much over the pre-season. Like, he's 95 kilos or 90 kilos and just absolute beast on the running track. And Kerno was the same with him. He was always like top two with those blokes. But during the footy, I reckon definitely Andreas Everett's popped up. I think he's like the next Lockie Henderson in the club. He's gone forward and back, and he can play those dual roles, which is what we really need. So we can kind of set Hendo in a... You know, if we're going to play someone that night and we need a third tall, he can go down there and kick goals for us. Or if we need someone back on another tall, and he'll go up there and do the same thing. So I reckon, Andreas Everett's been massive for us.
Is that generally the plan, Robbo, without an Eddie Betts kicking those opportunistic goals?
Yeah.
What will the strategy be? I know he's a mate of yours. It's definitely sad to see him go.
He was a mate of mine, yeah, he was. As I said, because Andreas, he can go really well up forward. It's about Jeffrey now. Like, I think Yaron, we're playing a little bit more down back, which, we love him down there. That's where teams kind of, tighten up a little bit and they need to tag him out of the game. So, Mental's been smashing it so far. He's kicked a couple of goals a game, and he's one of those players that can play tall and small. So he's kind of hard to match up on. I see him being a pretty good jet, like kicking those left foot goals.
Well, there's, I guess, a perception that you might want to not go as hard as you possibly can in a pre-season game. Is that an unfair perception? Because if you do go really hard, you might hurt yourself, and then you're out for the first couple of games. What is the player's approach to a pre-season game?
It's kind of a difficult one because you want to get the match fitness, so you want to run hard in the pre-season games, but also if you start second-guessing yourself going into contests and stuff, that's when you really do get injured. So it's kind of hard, but I guess if you're playing for a spot, you're not fully cemented in the team like one of the older senior blokes, and you got to show what you can put on the ground. And a lot of us younger blokes still have to kind of go hard in every game. So as we tried pretty hard. It's kind of hard, like getting used to the new structures and the new players around you. So it's kind of getting to know the other players and gelling as a team and taking them to round one.
How's your relationship with Mick?
Amazing, yeah.
Great. And so, were you on the plane, maybe massaging his feet so he didn't get DVT, deep vein thrombosis? Were you bringing him extra packets of peanuts? Were you cementing that relationship with Mick to get the extra 12 games you need? More importantly, that we need for the father-son.
Mate, I was doing whatever I could to get a game. Me and him were best mates over the camp. But Mick's been a great coach. He's one of the smartest blokes I know. And there might have been a few favours here and there, but we're looking pretty good so far. Hopefully starting round one on Sunday, and we don't know the teams yet, so I think we find out probably Saturday.
Well, let's preview that game. It's against
the big one.
Yeah, Port Adelaide. The last time we played them was round 23 last year.
That's it.
Mentally, what sort of headspace are you in? And obviously you're thinking about imminent fatherhood, but you've got your head around what you need to do and what we need to do to beat Port.
Yeah, personally, I just have to keep playing the same game that I've worked on like for the last couple of months here, and we've got Dean Laidley, who's a great new assistant coach. He's a midfield coach, and he's been absolutely you can really get along with all the players, and he's pretty smart too. So it's good to have him in there. He's got a few new tactics up his sleeve, and it works out well for my kind of game style. And also as the team, we've kind of set a team that's there at the moment, and going to round one. We'll kind of use we beat them twice last year, Port Adelaide twice, so we're going to use that in our favour. We know what works against them, we know what doesn't, because, as you said, round 23 was a come-behind win, and then took from half-time onwards to kind of figure them out. But, no, obviously we've got a full-time coach on board who goes and susses out Port Adelaide, and he's had a while to do that now, so no, we're ready for him. So
he's had to go over to Port Adelaide.
Yeah, he's been everywhere on Baz. No, Baz has been everywhere. He's a little scout and a spy, I guess you could say. And he's been presenting with us today. We had a nice presentation from him, so no, we're all over it.
Yeah, had to have his spider tattoo on his elbow just to fit in and add that in there.
He had his beanie on there. You can see him.
I know. Well, the end of last year to play 2 finals was great.
Would have been better if we played 4?
Yeah, that would have been fantastic, obviously. What was the, wrap-up? What lessons did the team take from season 2013?
I guess it was more learning curve for a few of the players. We put a few new faces to the team, and we got to see Menzel and a couple of these younger blokes stepping up. Keisha, Belly got a few games on the belt. So we took out the finals. Was you never give up, because as we said, we had to beat Port Adelaide to get in that final, and you never know what can happen when you make the finals. So we beat Richmond, and we thought we had a pretty good chance against Sydney, and we would have flown to Freo to play them over there. So I guess we took some more experience. A few more blokes got to play finals footy and get a taste for it, and we've got some fresh faces this year in Dale Thomas, Andres Everett, and I think they'll be playing round 1. So we can't wait to get out in the field.
What does the 150th of the club mean to the players? It's quite a milestone. Carlton's a lot older than a lot of Premier League football clubs in the UK, which is something.
Crazy. Yeah, well, we've had a few older players around the club. As in Stephen Kernahan's been around here, he knows what it means really about the club. And we had Braddles down a couple of years ago, and Diesel Williams, and just trying to get the club back on track to successful footy, because when we come to the club, the first thing you think about is winning premierships. When you walk in the doors, first thing you see, and the 200 games players walking down the race there. So all we want to do is get the respect back from the fans, and come out and try and give it our best this year, because it's 150th year. It does mean a lot to the club and the players. So it's not just a slogan for the year, but we actually are taking it on board, and we're going to give 110% every game.
Well, it's not like the club wants to put any more pressure on you.
No.
We've got the new jumper here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cade, for lending us this particular number of yours. It's got the Premiership Cups on the back with the years.
Yeah, we're carrying them. We're carrying the team with us.
Now, so what does that mean to the players?
It just means it's hard to kind of tell, because when you walk in the club, the first thing you see is those 16 premierships, and now it's on your jumper too. I don't know if we're wearing these games just for 3 times this year, obviously. Yeah, so we're wearing them 3 times this year, and hopefully win those 3 games. But it's we just try and take it on board. It's a massive year for us, and it is the 150th year of the club, which is probably the oldest in this, going around. So we love it. Look at the jersey; it looks amazing.
Did you say jersey?
Was it jersey or jumper?
Guernsey.
A
jumper.
How do you spell Guernsey?
Guernsey.
I've been watching too much American sports, so that's my fault.
Well, it's either Jersey or Guernsey, which you would know, Robbo, are both the Channel Islands.
That's true.
The only part of the British Empire occupied by the Nazis in World War II.
Well, there you go. I'm still learning. We don't have that segment educating Mitch Robinson, but I'm still getting it.
No, we've
still got it.
No, we've got a quiz.
I've got a quiz
for you.
Oh,
yes,
no.
indeed.
I didn't get told about that.
Before we get to that, just a slight quibble about this, Robbo. Where is the historic 2005 Wizard Cup victory?
It's probably tarnish and alcohol, I reckon. The boys had a pretty big bender after that grand final.
I was at that game.
You were?
Yes. We beat West Coast, who then went on to win the premiership that year.
Finished wooden spoon that year? Yeah.
Robbo, the official 2014 season guide to the Carlton Football Club, which is out now. If we just turn to page 11, you'll see the performance. There's an interesting article on the elite performance unit, but more importantly, right next to that,
page
on page 25 is an article on the leadership group. Can you talk us through the leadership group and changes that have been made?
Yeah, every year we've kind of had all the boys get up who thinks they're confident enough to put their hand up for leadership group, and this year we had about 17 players get up, which is a massive plus. We've had a few inclusions this year, which we thought they've been up there for the last couple of years, but it's good to have the inclusion of Brock McLean, Lockie Henderson, of course. Hendo, he's definitely cemented his spot in the team from last year, and he's looking really good. And we've got Gibber. Gibber's last year he kind of wanted to focus a bit more on his footy and try and get the love and passion back for footy, I think, because he had a bit of a down year the year before. So he put his hand back up and just straight away elected back in because the boys really get behind him, and he's a professional player, number one draft pick, of course. So that always works for him.
How is it decided? Is it a vote by the players or by the existing members of the leadership group?
Yeah, so every player gets up in front of the group and gives a little speech why they should be in there and what rules they can enforce. And it's most about on field, but obviously off field too, because you don't want anyone in the leadership group that doesn't work hard in the gym or runs hard off track or training wise. So yeah, they get up and do the little spiel, and after all that's been done, there's a sheet comes there and all the boys put down from 1 to whoever, how many, 17 I think it was, and yeah, it comes from that.
So it is an election. Is there any skullduggery, any corruption? Is there?
Well,
we
don't actually see the votes. We don't see them get tallied up. So I think it goes upstairs, and I think whoever they want in the leadership group actually happens.
Right,
so,
right.
So they make us think that we're putting in our vote, but it's not really happening at all.
Well, you could argue all democracy is a sham, Robbo. But so do they? Once in the leadership group, do they become drunk with power?
They do. I used to cop it from Juddy. I said, yes sir, no sir, Juddy. And now he's not even in the captain or in the leadership group, so I just say, mate, I know you won a couple of premierships here and there, but come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Up.
Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are, mate?
Yeah, come on, this is...
I've been in nearly longer than you.
Yeah, this is...
I'm one club player, mate. This is my club.
This is a socialist republic.
Yes.
It's not some highfalutin monarchy.
But it's good, though. All the boys have done really well, and... it's also because a few of the fellas might be injured or something like that, so it's whoever's on the field, they'll lead by example, and in the reviews they'll step up if there's done wrong, and it's been really good so far.
How does it go with the leadership group that big? Do you think it's almost too big?
No, not really. How many is it? 8?
Yeah,
it's 8. No, I think it's about a good size because you've got a whole bunch of leaders in there, ranging from Gibbers 24 and Hendo's about 24, and it goes up to I don't think Chuka or Carrazza's probably the oldest there at nearly 30. So, they've all got the things they can add to the team, and their leadership qualities are all different. So, I think it's a good balance at the moment.
I think it is great to see Brock McLean in there as well because he will take you to task during a game, won't he? He won't. Yeah. He will give you an earful if you're not performing up to his particular standard, which I think is a great thing to see.
He'll tell it to your face or on Twitter, so he will tell you what he thinks.
On Twitter,
yes.
Okay, right. Well, whatever it takes. Now,
whatever it takes.
You mentioned Bryce Gibbs. The whole free agency debate has been kind of bubbling along.
It's been a big one again. Every year I'm kind of getting sick of it, really.
Well, it's a perennial, but it's good fun to kind of kick around.
I think everyone forgets I'm out of contract this year too, but I'm just being swept under the rug like...
Well, no.
I want to get in now because after all these boys sign on, which I know they will, there'll be nothing left. I'll be playing for less than that $2.50 a game. But no, it's been pretty good so far. We've had a couple of big signings. We had Murphy, obviously the captain. He's signed for further 4 years, which has been amazing because he can show how young he is and he's captain of the club already, and he stands up when need to be standing up. So we also got. Who else did we get to sign up? We got Walker Talkie. Yeah, big Walker sign up. Sky Walker. He's another one that's ticked off. So you can see because the culture of the club's getting better. The last 2 years has been really good for the boys, and we're starting to build something strong down here with Mick and a couple of new coaches around. Like there's a little bit of the Sydney type culture going on, I think, which is really good. So I think Gibbsy and a couple other boys. I think we got Yaron Simpson to sign up, but I think that pen to paper will be done pretty soon.
All right, because people keep asking me whether or not Gibbs is going to sign.
Yeah.
What can you tell me? Because I'll tell you the response that I give them.
Yeah, no, I think Gibbs not far off. Like I've heard a lot of rumours he might be going back over to Adelaide, but he's got his wonderful girlfriend down here, and he's building a house just over across the road in a big Carlton area. Yeah. So I think he's pretty set, and he's got his new fashion label going. So. Well,
I keep telling people the number one reason I know that Gibbs will stay at Carlton.
Why is that?
This is where his hairdresser is.
Exactly, chica. Nah, so, that's actually
Could you imagine that painful separation?
But I think if Gibber, went to Port Adelaide or something like that and got paid that much money, he'd probably just fly Chica over there.
Yeah.
For his once a week haircuts.
Be a bit like Elvis said in his private jet to Colorado to get a round of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Well, there you go.
What I want to do with...
Put on that weight, Big Presley.
He sent them to the Guernsey Islands as well. Jersey Islands, Channel Islands.
Jersey.
Yeah, there we go. What I want to do now, Robbo, is actually, because there's been a number of changes at the club. We've lost people, we've gained people.
Yep.
I just want to go through the recruits and just get you to give me a description of the new recruit. Just tell me, what they're like.
1 or 2 words, I'll give you 2.
All right, here we go. You ready? Sam Doherty.
Great young player from Brisbane. He's been struck with the injury since Arizona, which has been pretty annoying because we had big things from him from the half-back flank, but he's tracking along nicely. He's just started running and he put the boots on for the first day today since November, so we're looking forward to him back. All
right. Daisy, how's he settling in?
He's doing really well, better than expected. I didn't really think he'd be ready for round 1, but he's been training really hard over in Arizona when we first got to meet him, and he's come back. He's played a few games. I've played 2 games now, I think, and he's just starting to hit his straps now. It's always going to be hard for a new bloke at a club, and he's fitting in pretty well.
Cameron Wood.
Big Woodsy, he's a good ruckman. I played a couple of games with him so far, and even training he gives Robbie Warnock and Cruz a bit of a hit out. So I think. I don't know if he has to get elevated or he might be... Yeah, I think he has to get elevated to play games. But
how tall is he, Robbo?
He's about 196 or 7, I think. Yeah, probably a bit higher. Probably nearly 200, I think. So
wow.
He's put on the most muscle at the club in the whole preseason. So I think he's at about 100 kilos now.
Okay.
So he's a big boy.
So where's he at in his development?
He's ready to step up when he gets called upon, I reckon. He's shown a bit of jump and a bit of ruck work in the trainings and in the first game he played. So, looking forward to seeing if one of the players go down, he'll be ready to step back up straight away.
That's great.
Yeah.
Blaine Johnson?
Jono, he's more fierce than I thought he would be, actually. He's very quiet. We call him No Complain Johnson, or No Complain Blaine, actually, we call him. Yeah, he does not say a word around the club. You wouldn't have noticed this here, but he played this on the weekend, and he's actually really hard. I think he played like 6 quarters on the weekend, played 3 of the reserves, and stood up to AFL and played 3 of that, so... He ran a lot of Ks, and he's a hard little bugger.
Well, if he's anywhere near as good as Wayne Johnson, we'll be very excited.
Very close.
Patrick Cripps.
Big Cripper, the big battering ram. He's about 90 kilos and about 190-something centimetres, so he's flying at the moment. I'm not too sure if he's playing round 1, but I guess we'll find out in a couple of days, but he would not look out of place. He's doing pretty well at the moment, yeah.
Cameron Giles?
Big Gilesy, yep. He's fitting in pretty well with Stumman White and Jamison. They've been picking on him every day since he's got to the club, and I was asking Jamo why he reckons breaking down, then he built him back up as a man. So
really.
He's taking him through those steps.
Right.
He cops. I've been telling him to stick up for himself, but he reckons it just gets harder when he does something back. So, but he'll fit in nicely in the back line there.
Andreas Everett.
Yeah, I like Andreas. Big skinny, he's doing very well so far. As I said before, he can be a forward or a back. He's kicked a couple of goals so far in NAB Cup, and he's all the boys love him. He gets around everyone, and he's a quiet character, but he's an absolute legend.
You can talk us through this. Your first couple of months at the club, in the lead up to the first game of the season. In fact, in the lead up to your first game.
Yep.
What's that experience like?
It's nerve-wracking. It's really hard because I know for myself. You've got to have confidence. Say yes, everyone's at the club at the same time, and you have that period where you go through training and you want to train really well, and you might have a couple of bad training sessions, and they can only really go off a NAB Cup game. So it's kind of hard for especially a new player to come in and try and show what he's got. But Andreas hasn't put a foot back, and neither has Daisy. So those boys look on target for round 1, and we can't wait to see him out there in the Blues colours and officially get a game on the belt. Obviously,
Daisy's got a relationship with Mick, but it would be quite intimidating.
Father-son rule, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't know Mick played the club, but he got here somehow.
Could it be intimidating for some of these younger players to get in and then, your coach is Mick Malthouse?
Yes, I felt like I was here for the first time when Mick came here because instantly he was an intimidating fella. So, as I said, younger boys, it's all about the culture we're setting, and we, if a young boy sees something he doesn't like, he should say something. So, we've given them the power to, go with it and, train hard and do what you can in games. And if they tell you to take it back a little bit of training, just try and do some extras and stuff. But all the young boys that have come on this year, it's been really well. I reckon it's been one of the better drafts we've had in a couple of years, probably since my year.
And you as a senior player, obviously, taking them under your wing, getting them to drive you to the hospital when you need it.
No, I've actually
borrowing money from them, getting them to pay for your lunch. Is that how it works?
I've actually flown one of my best mates up from Tassie. He's living up here now, and he's he said if I'm playing footy, he would take her to the hospital. So I'll give him that privilege, and he has to cut the cord too.
He has to cut the cord
if I'm busy.
Oh, okay, right. Surely,
if she goes in labour while I'm at the game.
Well, we hope it doesn't come to that.
No.
Nick Holman.
Yeah, Nicky Holman, the boy from Kyabram. I had the pleasure of rooming. Actually, he had the pleasure of rooming with me over in Arizona. He's actually a really hard player. He's hard at it. He showed a bit of that. I hadn't seen too much of him till the weekend against the Bulldogs, but he has a real crack. He's pretty physical, skinny bloke, but he'll put it on a bit of weight when he gets another pre-season under his belt. But I've seen him playing games this year. I really do. He's a good young player.
Deledio's from Kyabram, isn't he?
Yeah, actually he is. I've seen that actually the other day. He's from the same spot. So I think Nicky Holman actually absolutely dominated for Kyabram last year. So he'll be a good addition to the team.
And Luke Reynolds.
Yeah, Lukey Reynolds. He's another one of those boys that doesn't say absolute anything at the club, so I wouldn't even know if he's here or not. But he's actually a pretty good user of the ball. He's got some good skills, and I can see him racking a few games up and a few positives this year under the reserves, and hopefully get his spot for the spot in the AFL.
And the Irish connection has been maintained, which is a great thing. Kieran Byrne and Kieran Sheehan.
The Kierans. Yeah, we've got a couple good young players in Kieran Sheehan, both from Ireland, obviously, and because we've got the same name, we call one Casey and one Gus. So Casey is Kieran Burns, and the other one's Kieran Sheehan. So those boys, Casey's actually injured at the moment. He's just got a little bit of tendonitis in his knee, so he's been in the rehab group since actually Arizona. So hopefully he'll come in sometime soon. I think he's doing a fair bit of running. But little Gus, he's getting used to the oval ball, and he's doing pretty well till you obviously take him under the wing with the Irish accents and trying to translate for him and stuff. So they're fitting really nicely. Great bunch of people, the Irish boys. So it's good to have them down here. Whose
job is it to come up with the nickname, or do you just put it into a John Travolta name generator, or how does that work?
No, they actually they get given nicknames whenever someone sees them doing something. But I think Casey was actually his. He told me the story that Casey, his little sister, couldn't pronounce his name Kieran when she was a baby, so she used to go Casey or something. So that's how he got that. No, it's cute, but yeah, it's not the best ones. So I don't know how Gus got his. I don't even know.
Is Luke Reynolds a shoe-in just to be Bert, or
no, his name's Dickie, but I think that
Dickie
goes a little bit deeper than it should.
Okay, so
not that. Beg the pun.
There you go. Any other nicknames we should know about of any of the recruits?
Casey is actually Fiddler. His nickname is Fiddler because we've seen him on stage a couple of times, and when because he's obviously getting interviewed as a new Irish recruit, he cannot stop playing around with his genitals like when he's on stage. He just fiddles the whole time. So we all noticed that, and he got Fiddler straight away. So yeah, that's his one.
That's great.
You know, when you got his nervous habits, like you might play with your hands, play with your legs, but he just goes straight for the junk, and it must be comforting for him. I don't know.
Maybe he's poor. Everybody in Ireland is poor, and it's all they have to play with.
Exactly. All the fiddle. Like he tried to palm it off as playing the fiddle, but
you
hear it first on the podcast, guys.
Thank you. Well, there's our first exclusive, apart from Daisy and Mick and the father and son rule.
Yeah.
Now, Robbo.
Yes, mate.
2014 brand new segment on the Carlton Podcast with Mitch Robinson.
Come at me.
Tony Moclair. We're not doing Educating Mitch anymore. What?
I was being sacked.
No, it's being rested.
It went for about 20 minutes, that little part, so I can see why it's been rested. It's been like Mars bars, work, rest, play.
Thank you, yes. There you go.
Shout out to the sponsors.
Instead, what's going to happen now is the new segment, Do You Know Your Teammates Mitch Robinson?
Yeah, I know myself.
Okay, what I'm going to do is hit you with some questions.
All right, so I didn't get to see these questions. That's fine.
You have to, as quickly as possible, identify the player who is the subject of the quiz. Are you ready?
Yes.
Number 1, I was drafted in the 4th round of the 2002 AFL draft.
Do I say the name now? And they're still playing?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
All right.
Carrazzo.
Incorrect. Question number 2. I made my debut for the Blues during Round 11's clash with Geelong in 2003.
Why are we going so far back? I didn't even used to watch footy back then. Carrazzo. That one's Carrazzo.
It's the same
Oh, just the whole person.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought the whole questions were someone different.
No.
Oh, okay, now I got you.
It's okay.
Okay, I've got you now. Let's go.
All right, we'll go to question 3 then. I hail from the outer eastern suburbs of Melbourne. Which I think rules out 2 of the Irish boys.
Yeah, and 2002. Pass.
All right. Into the 4th question now of Do You Know Your Teammates, Mitch Robinson. As well as playing for the Blues, I part own a business in the food and beverage industry. That really narrows it down as a footballer.
I still don't know.
All right, we're going to question 5.
Give me a second. Food and beverage. Pass. Question 5.
All right, if this doesn't bell the cat, I don't know what will. I recently raised a significant amount of money for a chosen charity.
Is this Kate Simpson?
Is that your answer?
Yes.
Yes, Mitch
I
Robinson.
said Simo
It
in the
is
second
Kate
question.
Simpson.
In a second question, and then I said, once you play this back, guys, you will hear it because I go, Simo? And like got dead. I said carrots and I go, Simo. I go, next question.
No, that will have to go through the very complicated appeals process for Do You Know Your Teammates,
You
Mitch
can
Robinson.
go back because question 2 I said carrots and then Simpson and nothing was said.
No,
I thought, okay.
No, I'll tell you what. The governing body for this game meets in Switzerland once a year, and you will have to make your
offshore. Okay.
Yeah, you'll have to make your case to them.
By the way, wrapping it up in a second, but what food and beverage is he involved with?
Slushy King.
Oh, Slushy King. There's your shout out. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Kate Simpson. I said just replay it. Replay. I bet you'll hear it.
And he helps out in charity by letting homeless men eat leftover bits of food from his beard.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I knew
He's
when
a
he
good
said
man.
yeah, I thought the beard.
He's a good man. Robbo, that's the end of the first Carlton Podcast for 2014. On a personal note, can I just say I'm delighted to be doing this with you again.
Mate, it's a privilege.
It's great
Both
fun.
ways.
And we look forward to lots of players popping in and kicking topics
and what do
around with us.
the supporters and fans, after having been the number 1 in the country in the sports podcast, what do they have to look forward to this year? Do we know?
Just no end of entertainment. And I want you, here's what I want you to be doing.
We've got a few big names coming this year, I'm not going to lie. We've got a few big names.
Well, if you go to the Facebook page and you can nominate for Robbo to play for you in Do You Know Your Teammates, Mitch Robinson, and we'll see if we can organise some sort of prize for you. Robbo, we will catch you next week.
Yep.
And good luck and go Blues.